Welcome back to the 1991 Review Channel. At the end of episode 165, after Xiao Yan met Feng Qing Air again and taught that arrogant woman a lesson, his journey with everyone else continued towards a final goal, the Bodhi Ancient Tree. However, to reach that sacred land, they had to face a horrifying challenge, an obstacle whose name alone was enough to make one tremble in fear, a beast tide of tens of thousands of savage beasts. The ground shook violently. The air was thick with the stench of blood and a dense killing intent. The battle between the group and the beast tide erupted with extreme ferocity. The horde of ferocious beasts was like a dark, endless tsunami, roaring as they charged forward under the command of their leader. Their roars merged into a symphony of death. In a flash, countless experts were torn to shreds, their bodies littering the ground, their desperate cries for help quickly drowned out by the chaotic sea of sound. The situation had become critical to the extreme. Faced with this hellish scene, no one dared to hold back. Everyone immediately unleashed their Do Chi and charged straight into the beast tide, beginning a bloody siege. In the air, terrifying explosions of energy constantly echoed, and the ground seemed on the verge of splitting apart. Fighting while on the move, the group finally reached the end of the path, where an ethereal energy barrier blocked their way. That was the exit. However, that short distance became a line between life and death, as many were dragged back by sharp claws and ripped apart right before the gates of paradise. "Everyone go first. I'll cover the rear," Xiao Yan shouted, his figure standing steadfast like a mountain, blocking the torrent of ferocious beasts. Following the plan, one person after another quickly passed through the barrier. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan had to use his full power, the heavenly flame roaring in his hands, incinerating wave after wave of frenzied attacks. But the beasts were too numerous. After everyone got through, they had to immediately channel their energy to reinforce the barrier, preventing it from being shattered. Isolated outside, Xiao Yan shouldered the entire burden alone. The immense pressure drained his Do Chi at an alarming rate. Finally, when the last person was safe, a gigantic beast slammed Xiao Yan into the barrier, sending him flying backward. When he stabilized himself, before him were thousands of beasts roaring madly and pounding on the barrier. The people inside had to use all their strength just to keep the seal from being broken. A long while later, the beast tide gradually retreated, and everyone could finally breathe a sigh of relief. But when they turned around, the cunning members of the Soul Clan had vanished without a trace. Without a moment's delay, Xiao Yan led the group and shot forward, hundreds of figures tearing through the air, piercing through a thick layer of fog. Upon exiting the fog, a majestic and overwhelming sight unfolded before them. A gigantic ancient tree, its entire body glowing gold as if forged from the sun itself, stood tall between heaven and earth, radiating an ancient and pure life force. Its illusory image seemed to connect the sky and the ground. Is this the legendary Bodhi Ancient Tree? Xiao Yan murmured, his eyes blazing with astonishment and desire. Suddenly, from deep within the ancient tree, a golden light more brilliant than anything they had ever seen shone forth. It was a Bodhi heart. The eyes of everyone, from the Soul Clan to the heavenly demon Phoenix tribe, glinted with unconcealable greed. Unable to restrain themselves any longer, they immediately transformed into streaks of light, rushing towards the ancient tree. "Wait!" Xiao Yan held his companions back, his eyes filled with caution. The Bodhi Ancient Tree is a supreme natural treasure. It would be strange if there weren't any danger. Let them scout ahead. Just as he finished speaking, the space around the Bodhi Ancient Tree suddenly twisted and distorted. 5 figures cloaked entirely in black robes silently appeared, blocking everyone's path. With their appearance, a terrifying pressure, as if the sky itself were falling, enveloped the entire area. Everyone's faces turned pale, as they could feel that these 5 figures were all half-saints. 5 half-saint experts, but there's no trace of life force. Xiao Yan took a sharp, cold breath. Sun Air, standing beside him, said softly, "That's right. They are merely puppets. These are the half-saints recorded in the ancient texts to have disappeared along with the Bodhi Ancient Tree." Hanyu of the Soul Clan muttered, his face filled with horror. The situation was incredibly dire. Xiao Yan looked around and then said with decisive, heavy tone, "We must all join forces to have any hope. We will block one of them." After a tense negotiation, the other factions agreed to handle the remaining 4 puppets. "If there are no objections, then let's move." Xiao Yan's roar was like a command. The Do Chi in his body erupted, and his figure shot forward like a cannonball. Following him, Sun Air, Medusa, and the other experts attacked simultaneously. An earth-shattering battle broke out. Although they had superior numbers, their opponents were half-saint level fighting machines. The battle was extremely tragic. On Xiao Yan's side, thanks to their perfect synergy, they successfully focused their firepower. Xiao Yan's body expanded, glowing with brilliant golden light, his fists like golden iron armor smashing into the puppet. At the same time, the great silent annihilation finger from Gu Qingyang and Sun Air, along with a pillar of lightning from Kai Lin, descending from the sky, struck. Boom! Under the combined assault, the half-saint puppet's body exploded into countless fragments. After the other puppets were destroyed one by one, at the cost of the blood and lives of many experts, the area finally returned to silence. Everyone quickly sat down to recuperate. Xiao Yan looked towards a Bodhi ancient tree, which emitted a soft light that also concealed countless mysteries. He knew that the recent trial was merely an appetizer. He turned to the others and said seriously, "What comes next will certainly be many times more dangerous. I suggest that anyone whose strength has not reached the level of a 6-star Dozun should stay here." As he finished speaking, all those with sufficient strength nodded, their eyes filled with determination. The path ahead was fraught with peril, but a once-in-a-millennium opportunity was right before their eyes. And what bizarre traps will they have to face after getting past this protective ring? Follow the 1991 Review YouTube channel for more details in the next episode. Hello and see you again.